What's good? For those that don't know what I'm talking about, maybe you didn't watch DAZN's broadcast yesterday, and if you didn't watch Ramirez versus Hooker last night, do yourself a favor and watch that fight. One of the best fights of the year so far. We got a new unified champion, and hopefully we could get an undisputed world champion by the end of next year, mid next year, hopefully, at the latest. Hopefully. Boxing. But I'm here to talk about Crawford's comments and last night's show. First of all, Crawford is a top-rank ESPN fighter, and he was making an appearance, doing an interview in DAZN, which is more associated with Golden Boy. Ramirez was a Golden Boy fighter. Fighting, I believe, Hooker was with Eddie Hearn, correct me if I'm wrong, but this whole broadcast, and he mentioned it, just shows that there is no other side of the street, which is what Spence says when he mentions Crawford. He says, well, he's on the other side of the street. It just can't happen. Crawford said, there's no other side of the street. This is boxing. He said, I'm here. I'm an ESPN fighter. Ramirez is an ESPN fighter. He's with Top Rank. And for years, they wouldn't do business with Golden Boy, and now they are. They're doing business with Eddie Hearn. Even though Top Rank is with ESPN, Ramirez fought on DAZN. It could happen, and it's happened for decades, man. Promoters, even though they don't like each other, they have to work with each other. Crawford said, there's no other side of the street. And I like to repeat that because every PBC guy, every PBC fan, not every guy, not every fan, if you want to say, oh, I'm a PBC fan and I... Man, you know what I mean. They didn't even mention Crawford in their show when Pacquiao fought Thurman. They didn't even show him in the list of champions. And he said, man, I guess that's how much they fear me. That's how much they're afraid of Crawford. They don't even mention him. They mention two WBA champions in Crawford and Thurman and Pacquiao, but they don't mention probably the best fighter in the world, not let alone the best welterweight in the world. They don't mention Terence Crawford, probably the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. Besides maybe Lomachenko or Usyk, if you want to say those guys. But quit making excuses for you guys. Fans, there should not be a Top Rank fan, a Golden Boy fan, a PBC fan. Screw all the promotional companies. Screw them. Especially if they're making it hard for us to get good fights. Let's get good fights. We could be fans of fighters. We could be fans of guys. We could be Thurman fans, Crawford fans, Pacquiao fans. But being fans of Golden Boy Promotions, Top Rank, Premier Boxing, that's silly. Especially since we're not making any money off these guys. If PBC is paying you, I'm all for it, man. If PBC was paying me, man, yes. I say yes. Crawford has to sign without Heyman. Crawford has to sign without Heyman if he wants to fight Spence. But they're not. I'm not making any money off them. So, let's fight him. I think Crawford will win because I genuinely think Crawford will win that fight. But I want to see that fight happen. I will travel anywhere in this country to watch that fight. If you guys don't want to see that fight because Crawford is with Top Rank, you don't want to see a great fight because they're with a rival promoter that you're not even promoted with Pbc, but you ride with them because they have some black fighters or because of Mayweather. Boxing's a crazy sport, but yes, Crawford's right. There's no other side of the street. It's all boxing. If it was like MMA, they even do MMA crossover. Ray Mercer went to UFC. Tony went to UFC. McGregor came to boxing. That's the other side of the street. Because they're similar sports, but they're not. That's the other side of the street. Not the same sport just because you're with the rival promoter. So quit saying that. Especially fans. Okay, Spence, he's getting paid by Al Heyman. Sure, I don't know what Al Heyman tells these guys to say. They're getting paid well enough, man. If Al Heyman told me to say something and paid me well, I'd say it too, man. But he's not. There's no other side of the street. Let's make these fights happen, and let's call for these fights to happen instead of making excuses for these guys. These millionaire guys that get paid to do a sport. Yes, it's a dangerous sport, but they're getting paid more than sometimes than the president, than doctors. So let's stop making excuses for them. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think of this? Peace.